Going into this review, I really thought that the Nikon was going to be the runaway winner, but if you really think about what's most important to professionals, you might find that the Sony, although it's a little older, is still a very capable camera, and if that's the option that you choose to go with, then you're not necessarily making a wrong choice. Yeah, perfect. Perfect. Do that again. Head back a little. Yeah, perfect. When it comes to camera manufacturers, the most important product in their lineup should be their pro-grade mirrorless full-frame camera. When we talk about Nikon and Sony, it is the Nikon Z6III and the Sony A7IV. In this review, I want to take these two behemoths and compare them to each other and see which one comes out on top. When it comes to full-frame mirrorless cameras, the Nikon Z6III and the Sony A7IV are two strong contenders, each offering impressive features for photographers and videographers alike. Let's dive deep into the specifics to see how they compare. So starting out with the build and design, the Z6III features a robust magnesium alloy body that feels sturdy and well balanced. It's weather sealed, making it a good choice for outdoor shooting. The grip is comfortable, allowing for extended shooting sessions without fatigue. If you consider how many years Nikon has existed, they have definitely worked the perfect balance between size and ergonomics to make the cameras very comfortable to hold. By contrast, when you look at the A7IV, it sports a more compact body, also made out of a magnesium alloy, and it's also weather sealed. While its grip is ergonomically designed, because Sony cameras are more compact, the masses out there have said that they're a little less comfortable to hold. For most individuals with average to large size hands, they still find that their pinky is hanging off the bottom of the Sony cameras, so depending on who you are, you might find the Sony cameras a little less comfortable to hold in the hand. Both cameras are well suited for professional, coming with lots of customizable buttons and dials, along with menu systems that can be customizable. While Sony has gotten a bad rep for its menu systems, it has improved over the years, and it is using the latest menu systems found in the more professional flagship cameras. That being said, I personally find that both camera systems have complicated menus, but I do like the fact that they have quick menus that you can customize to put your most used functions in them. When it comes to the ports, both have the same types of ports available, talking about full-size HDMI, audio, and microphone ports. When it comes to these two Pro bodies, both of them sport dual card slots. The Sony, however, it's more versatile. It's got two SD card slots, but in one of the card slots, you're able to use a CF Express Type A card. The CFX Type A is a little bit more expensive than the Type Bs, and they are not as available as the Type Bs. I believe Sony cameras are the only cameras that use the Type A, so keep that in mind. When we look at the Nikon, although it's got two dual card slots, one is a CF Express Type B and the other one is an SD card slot. I find that a little less versatile because you have to take two different card types as well as two different readers if you were to use both card slots. So it's a little less versatile, but I'm glad they still have two card slots. In addition to that, the CF Express Type P is more available. It is more affordable since it's mass produced, and you can get faster writing speeds with a CF Express Type B, so that's a plus to consider. Finally, on the body front, the Sony only has one dial to switch between different modes, whereas on the Z6III, you've got various dials in addition to an LCD screen that consistently displays your settings, and so it's a little bit more professional in that sense. When it comes to the Nikon Z6III, it's got a 24 megapixel full frame sensor. sporting vibrant colors, great dynamic range, and good in low light. Speaking of dynamic range, if you've looked at other reviews, you might have seen great headlines saying, the dynamic range on the Nikon Z6III is not so great. Now, I think those articles are a little bit overblown. The dynamic range has taken a slight hit because of the stacked nature of the sensor. What am I talking about? This camera also sports the world's first, at least to my knowledge, partially stacked sensor, which allows for high burst rate shooting and minimal rolling shutter. It is an engineering marvel. As a result of these improvements, you are going to experience a little less dynamic range. Dynamic range is simply being able to retain the information in the darkest and lightest parts of the picture. In real-world usage, it did not affect how I edit at all. You're still able to get a good range of dynamic range in those lower ISOs, so personally I feel like it's a non-factor, but it is something that you should consider. Moving over to the Sony A7IV, it's got a 33 megapixel sensor, putting out great high-resolution images. Sony, who is a leader in sensor manufacturing, boasts the greatest dynamic range when it comes to video sensors. You could practically see in the dark with these cameras. In addition to that, although unpopular opinion, Sony colors are much better than they used to be. Especially with the latest generation of their cameras, Sony has done a lot of great work to make sure that the colors that come out of these cameras are very accurate. When I compared both images side by side, more times than not, I preferred the Nikon picture over the Sony picture. What I've noticed about Sony colors is that they're very true to life, which means their files are malleable and you're able to edit these files to be whatever you want them to look like so long as you shoot in RAW. I do not think that you should make a decision based on color science because they're essentially neck and neck. So, in conclusion, when it comes to image quality, it is very subjective. I'm going to call it a tie because while Nikon has great colors, great skin tones and everything, and it's got a great sensor, in reality, you also have to consider the fact that Sony has better dynamic range and a higher resolution sensor, so this place is a wash. Now, the last aspect that I want to consider for image quality is if you are a sports shooter. If you're a sports shooter, the partially stacked sensor is going to give you better burst rates. You can shoot up to 120 frames per second photos with the Nikon Z6III. Of course, those photos are going to be JPEG, but if you're willing to come down to 20 frames per second in electronic shutter, you can shoot RAW files on the Nikon Z6, which is amazing. Now, with the Sony, unfortunately, you can only shoot up to 10 frames per second. And so when you really consider it, on paper, the Nikon Z6III is much better.
How you looking calm, baby, in spite of the body stretching out your pinstripes. Got so much to tell you, come on inside. Hey. You was MIA from the invite, tryna give me daps with my hands tied. All I wish for, if you could go my way. Yeah, been had me from the start. You've been on my radar for too long. Want you to stay, babe. You'd never say the word. I could give you the world, girl, won't you? Try me, I bet you gon' like it. Lava, yeah, me. Lava, yeah, me. Lava, with me, baby, yeah. Lava, yeah, me. Lava, yeah, me. Lava, with me, baby, yeah.
Getting right into autofocus, you have to consider that Nikon autofocus, though it is the same processor found in their flagship Z9, which definitely improves the autofocus performance, it's still not touching Canon and Sony. See, when it comes to autofocus speed, both Nikon and Sony have really quick cameras. But when it comes to autofocus intelligence, I feel like Sony is still better. What do I mean by autofocus intelligence? See, autofocus intelligence is the camera's ability to just pick the right subject and stick to that subject no matter what the conditions are. I find that Canon and Sony are stickier on the subject versus Nikon, where you can easily lose the subject, and I would say 70% of the time it gets the subject right, but 30% of the time you point the camera and it's focused on something else, and then I have to manipulate it or touch the screen to focus on the right subject. When it comes to autofocus intelligence, Nikon is not where Sony and Canon are just yet. So if you take the autofocus performance, the dynamic range performance of Sony and compare it to the speed of Nikon, I would say it's, again, a wash. On paper, the Nikon is better, but you might actually value, as a sports shooter, the accuracy and the nice dynamic range of the Sony. So it really depends on what you choose.
Been around the world all this time, still couldn't match how we felt. I can't wait to get home.
Now, when we talk about video, the story is very similar here, once again. With the Nikon, on paper, it's way better than Sony A7IV, but keep a few things in mind. So let's start off with the Nikon. The Nikon can shoot 6K internally in RAW. It can shoot 4K 60, full width of the. It's got N-Log inside it. You can shoot H.265. It has got great specs when it comes to video. Now, when you look at the Sony side, it can only shoot up to 4K, and in its 4K 60 mode, it is cropped 1.5 times. So once again, on paper, the Nikon is a much more capable video camera than the Sony. But consider this, once again, autofocus dynamic range, way better in the Sony. The Sony can practically see in the dark. Sony's entry-level Sony A7 is just as good in low light as its flagship A7S III. When you take that into consideration, you really have to determine what your needs are. Do you want all these great specifications, or do you want reliable video with great autofocus, great dynamic range? I would venture to say that there would be a lot of folks who, if they were true to themselves, would want the great autofocus, great dynamic range that comes out of Sony as opposed to the Nikon. And so, again, which one is the better video camera? It really is up to you. On paper, the Nikon is better, but in real usage, an argument can be made for Sony. Okay, so now let's talk about battery life and the price. When it comes to battery life, both of these cameras have amazing battery life. The Sony is going to be a little bit better, and so it wins in this category, but Nikon is no slouch. I think Nikon rates about 340 CP shots, whereas Sony rates about 580 CP shots. In real world usage, you're going to get a lot more than that, and so on paper, the Sony is slightly better. The final category we need to discuss is lens availability. See, with the Z mount, it's got a lot of great lenses for most situations. However, the mount is not as mature as the E-mount for Sony. With the Sony E-mount, not only does Sony have a lot of great lenses for every single situation, in addition to that, it has a lot of third-party manufacturer support. And so if you don't want to go with the first-party Sony lenses, you have the pick of the litter for third-party options. With the Z mount, you don't have those third-party options. You've got maybe a few lenses here and there, but not as mature as the E-mount system. So that is something you definitely want to consider. At the time of making this video, both cameras are the exact same price on B&H. So if you consider all things together, the Nikon is a better camera on paper. It's got the same price with better specifications. However, if you've seen the argument throughout this video, just because the Nikon is better in certain specifications doesn't make it the best option for that thing. If you need to make a decision right at this very second, the Nikon is the better camera. It is a newer camera. It shares the same processor as its flagship cameras, which means its autofocus is very good, even if it's not quite at Sony Canon level. It's got great features for the money, and it's got a great lens lineup. It's really hard to say who the winner is here. For myself, I'm going to be sticking with the Nikon Z6III. How about you? What would you be choosing if you had to choose between one of these two cameras? I really actually want to know, so if you've made it this far, leave a comment below telling me whether you'd pick the Sony or the Nikon and tell me why. If you appreciated this video, please leave a like on it, and if you're new to my channel, consider subscribing. I've got a lot more comparisons coming. I also have the Nikon Zf that I am going to be comparing to the Nikon Z6III if you're looking at that entry-level Nikon full-frame camera and wondering which one you should pick. Again, thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.